So I'm here at Mixcloud and I'm meeting the team from Mixcloud, and in a third of our interviews I'm meeting Xanthe, and we're going to talk about how how you work at Mixcloud and your career and what you do, and let's jump into that.
Cool, so my role at Mixcloud is I'm the head of community.
Amazing.
And what that means is that I am the sort of direct point of contact for our community of uploaders. Obviously we've got over 1.5 million people uploading shows, so I don't personally speak to every single one, but I do speak to as many as I can. And my whole role is working with creators to help them get the most out of the platform, so things that we're talking about in these chats, and making sure that they're having a good experience, getting their feedback on the platform, and feeding that back to our product team and engineers. People come to me with ideas for new features they want, so I can communicate those back to the product team.
Nice.
Working with the support team, who also help support the rest of the creators generally who use the platform.
When did you start at Mixcloud? How did you get into it?
Nearly 4 years ago.
Whoa.
So I've been here a while. I also play a big part in helping to get new creators to the platform as well, so identifying people who aren't using it and reaching out. But yeah, before that I worked in radio as a radio producer for years.
Nice.
So I used to work at BBC Radio 1, 1 Extra, 6 Music, Radio 2.
What was you doing there?
So I was producing shows. I used to produce Pete Tong on Radio 1.
Wow, cool. Amazing.
Mary Ann Hobbs, when she used to do a Radio 1 nighttime show, legendary show. I helped launch the Jamie Cullum Jazz Show on Radio 2.
Wow.
So quite varied musically.
Cool. And did you want to do that when you were growing up? What was your path into that?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I've always been really passionate about music, and when I was young, I was really obsessed with making mixtapes, and that was like physical cassette tapes.
It was. I know. I did it myself.
So yeah, my favourite nights would be staying in and making a mixtape for someone before going to see them, and like creating that story. Which is really interesting because that then led into a love of DJ mixes and discovering music that way. And when Mixcloud was then formed as a platform, it was straight away, it made so much sense to me. Because for years, friends of mine and I had always been sharing DJ mixes, but we had no way of actually sharing them. So you'd use these like big file sending websites. The equivalent of what is now WeTransfer. I think back then it used to be like YouSend It or something.
Christ, YouSend It, man.
So I used to use that, or like friends would come around to my house with a hard drive and just dump mixes on my thing. So now, as soon as I heard about Mixcloud, I was like, this makes so much sense. Now I can access these DJ mixes from all around the world.
Nice.
Suddenly I just thought, this is the most exciting thing ever. I can listen to radio shows from Romania, or see what people in Argentina are listening to. And
that's crazy about mixtapes. Actually, on the day of the Keith Flynn's buried day, I literally got into electronic music because I heard the Prodigy's Out of Space on a mixtape at a party when I was like 12, and I was like, what is this tune? And then it took me 4 weeks to find out what that tune firstly was, because I had to go through all the mixtapes and go scan through them all, and then I found it. How do I find out what it is now? I've got this one tape, and that was it, and that's how I literally got into electronic music, which is.
And I think the nice thing about mixtape is it's that person taking you on a journey, telling a story with either music or words or whatever it is. But when you get really into making mixtapes, as I used to, I would really sort of think about the journey, which is what you can now do. Well, which you would always do with a radio show as well, or a DJ mix. It's all storytelling. And that's what's really beautiful about a platform like Mixcloud, where you've got humans at the centre of it. So you've got a human curator who's thinking about that story and how they tell it. And sometimes they'll tell it with words as well, and they'll give you context to the tunes, and they'll give you the history of the tune or whatever. Or they'll just tell it in the way they shape the music of the show.
Nice. And then you moved from there to Mixcloud?
So I spent years, as I said, producing shows on various stations. I also ran a radio station in Shoreditch for a while. And your data transmission had a show on there.
Apparently so.
Yeah, you don't remember it.
Apparently so.
but it was big.
I had an editor back then, and it was great.
Yeah, I ran a station called Strong Room Alive. It was great actually. We had quite a few presenters who. Well,
I actually do remember it now.
Yeah.
I do remember it now. Strong Room. What
we
do?
We had shows. A lot of people who are on NTS now used to do shows on Strong Room Live. So the whole theme of it was a mixture of art, fashion, and music.
Nice.
So Vice magazine had a show. Dazed and Confused had a show. Pure Evil, the street artist, did an art show.
The legendary Ben Gomori probably did the show.
Ben Gomori did the data transmission
show. Yeah.
We had Trevor Jackson, who's now on NTS.
Yep.
Ross Allen. Ninja Tune did a show. They did their Solid Steel show.
Wow.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Amazing. And is now on Mixcloud if you want to hear it.
Wow, there you go. Great.
So yeah.
And then, so what does your day-to-day look like, I guess?
Busy. So it's a real mix of talking to creators, hearing that feedback on how things are going, but then also reaching out to new creators, so having meetings with artists, managers, record labels, talking to people who are thinking about using the platform, and explaining, why it might be good for them.
Nice.
Meeting up with radio stations, talking to them. It's really nice. The thing about it that's always really positive is my role is to help people to do well on the platform, which is a really positive thing. It's really nice. So you're here to help creators succeed.
Yeah.
And in fact, the whole platform's role is to help creators succeed. That's why we built Select, our subscription model, because we want to help creators to earn revenue and succeed and make their art sustainable.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't want to know more about Select, we've done a video about it. We'll put it in the card above. You can watch it and click through to it.
Yeah.
So young girls and boys that want to be in your job, how do they get there?
So if they want to get into radio, or if they want to get into somewhere like Mixcloud, I mean, generally, when you've discovered what your passion is, it takes working hard at it, definitely. But it's also about doing your research, finding out who the key people are that you should speak to help you get in there. And then I always advise emailing people and asking them if you could take them for a coffee.
Yes, we've done that so many times, like, God, can I meet you for coffee? Can I do this? Can I?
Yeah, but the thing is, I think if you don't phrase it like, can I meet you for a coffee because I want a job?
Yes.
Because then people will be like, 100%. Awkward. But if you actually say to people, can I meet you for a coffee and pick your brains about how the industry works? I'd really like to learn from you. Then I think that's actually much harder to turn down, because generally people really want to help where they can. They won't necessarily have a job. Very unlikely they'll have a job there on a plate to be like, here you go. But it is a chance to have a face-to-face meeting with that person, connect with them so they remember you, allow them to, and then you'll learn from it because they'll give you tips. And then you can take that away, but that you've logged yourself in that person's mind.
Yeah, I've done that so many times where people have asked me for coffee, and then like about 4 weeks later, like some jobs come up on Facebook, and I go, oh yeah, I met that guy, he's perfect for that, and I'll message him and go, here, there's a job, there's one here for you, and then
exactly. As soon as you become a face and a personality and not just a CV, then the better.
Wicked, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having us down at Mixcloud. It's been so much fun, and we've watch the rest of these videos by linking in the playlist, and we hope you learn loads from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.